The Talon and its Shrike variant are the latest releases from alien ship reproduction house Esperia. Standing opposed to the Anvil Arrow and Aegis Gladius, are they any good? To find out, grab your towel and come along to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Verse. As always, we begin these videos with a disclaimer. This is not a should I buy video, as we'd always encourage earning in-game rather than spending real money. That said, if you do want to pledge for any ship with real money, then that's your prerogative. We just won't try and convince you either way. With that out of the way, Esperia's Talon. The original Talon was a menace during the First and Second Tavaran War, built to execute fast and heavy hit-and-run strikes in groups before slipping away into the shadows. Reimagined for $29.50 by Esperia, their Talon is a faithful recreation thanks to the combined work of Esperia's engineers and the Tavaran themselves. As a fast attack vessel, the Talon is, of course, highly nimble. Coming in at 51 tons, it weighs exactly the same as the Aegis Gladius, but it is somewhat heavier than the 32-ton Arrow. Despite the weight difference, the Talon is still the most agile, with a pitch rate of 80 degrees per second, a yaw rate of 70 degrees per second, and a roll of 275. With an SCM speed of 208 meters per second and a 1236 max speed, meaning it matches the faster Gladius. To reach those speeds, the Talon has 9.5 G of forward thrust, which leaves the competition on the starting line, although with only 4.1 G of reverse, it's actually the slowest to come to a halt. That said, if you're comfortable decoupling, you can just burn backwards thanks to the excellent agility. Bring this bird down planet side and it handles, well, like a bird. Turning is effortless, even in the thick atmosphere of Hurston, with a quick burst of the afterburner comfortably bringing the velocity vector to the nose. Pulling the wings in doesn't have much of an impact on your agility at the time of writing, although it does reduce the amount of lift that the ship has. Hovering is also fairly effortless, although the throttle is quite twitchy, so take it easy to avoid putting it down too hard. Functionality-wise, the Talon lacks any of the bells and whistles that even starter ship pilots are accustomed to. A weapon rack is present under the cockpit, but don't expect to spend the night or take a bathroom break on board. This is a combat ship, pure and simple. But how does it stack up against the competition in combat? With two size 4 hardpoints, the Talon has the exact same DPS potential as both the Gladius and the Arrow, but it does have the advantage in the additional range that larger weapons afford. Its two size 3 missile racks do leave it lacking in comparison when it comes to missiles, however. The Shrike variant, with its two size 2 hardpoints, suffers in the gun department, but it more than makes up for it in sheer explosive capacity. With 24 size 3 missiles split between its two bespoke racks, the Shrike can dish out over 100,000 damage from self-propelled ordnance, which is enough to breach the shields and destroy even the hardiest of medium vessels, heck, even some large. On the defensive side, the Talon's 2300 body HP falls just behind the Gladius, but puts it ahead of the more fragile Arrow. It does, however, lack the armouring of its competition, which makes it more vulnerable to ballistics fire. It makes up for this, however, with its excellent twin size 1 Sucron shield generators, which are capable of mitigating all ballistic fire with a good health pool, regen, and distortion recovery. Of course, these can be swapped out for other generators, such as the Stealth class, and Stealth is well within the Talon's capability, thanks to a 30% reduction in all signatures. Combined with the high alpha long-range weapons permitted by its size 4 hardpoints, the Talon is capable of taking out small targets and returning to the shadows without ever being spotted if correctly configured. Let's talk looks and design. Now this is of course fully subjective, but the Talon is one of the best looking fighters in the game. The iridescent carbon fibre skin looks absolutely fantastic. CIG have done a great job with this, and the ship's hawk-like silhouette really does match its vicious nature. Also, it can't be denied that the entry method and startup sequence are just pure amazing. Space is well utilised on the ship, with little wasted. One odd thing, however, is that several of the ship's components cannot be easily reached from the ground, which means that repairs, once in game, need to be performed in 0G. So, is there a place for the Talon? For the base variant, it positions itself well as an excellent alternative to the competition, trading blows in most categories, but gaining an edge in range and agility. The Shrike variant is in a bit of an odd place though. Countermeasures have been nerfed in 3.12, but smaller vessels still encounter little threat from missiles. Against larger, slower ships such as the Constellation series or even the 600i, the Shrike may potentially be a serious threat, but until we see the missile operator changes due in early 2021, it's hard to say for sure. Of course, as this is a new ship, we don't have a price for it in game yet, but we expect it to be around 1.25 million, just above the Gladius. Any more than that, and honestly the Gladius remains the best choice in our books. As for real world money, the Talon at £110 again sits just above the Gladius at 86. I personally won't be CCUing my Gladius, the ownership for which I thank everyone who used my referral code. But it's far from the worst move, you're not really going to have buyer's remorse. There are some issues in the current state of the game, however, that do need addressing. The Cockpit Bug is a real thorn in the side for the Talon, as it also triggers the viewport, which causes you to fly blind. Additionally, the stock loadout is, quite frankly, terrible. The Sonic Light power plant is unable to provide enough juice, meaning that the Talon will shut down if you so much as move an inch whilst the shields are regenerating. Switch this out immediately to either a Slipstream if you want to go high alpha stealth, the Ion Burst if you want to overclock your weapon but retain some stealth, or a Quadracell if you intend to brawl. Additionally, the stock Light Strike cannons are some of the worst energy weapons in every category. Switch these out at the first opportunity. And that's all on that. Let us know your thoughts down below on the Esperia Talon and Esperia Talon Shrike. And whilst there, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that, stuff. And with that, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.